respect American people. These are dummies. I hear them talk about you. I bet they say these dummies wouldn't know any better one thing from another. They don't red state, blue state. You can say anything to them because all they want is some more stuff. Yeah. That's what they want, and we're going to give them stuff. And that's
every
what
now and then you catch it when they think the microphone's off.
Yeah, right.
And if I can sneak in right behind you to address your question, it's the same coin. Blue, red, it's the same coin. So when we talk about when the microphone is off, that's when we hear what they think about us. And one of the things that we have to understand is this concept of animal farm. Anybody read that in 8th grade, right? So there's this piece I'm working on with Animal Farm, right? So you go to one of these organic stores and you get a free-range chicken, right? And I don't know if you've noticed, but the free-range chicken seems to be so much more expensive than the conventional chicken, right? Why is the free-range chicken so expensive? Because the other chicken is subsidized. The free-range chicken has freedom of mobility. They have lots of plate. They can roam around. They're in the sunlight. They have the free-range chicken has all of these privileges that the conventional chicken doesn't. The conventional chicken is locked in small cages, given drugs and antibiotics, isn't violent. They put glasses on the conventional chicken so that they don't feed and fester on each other and cannibalize each other in these small confined places. So the conventional chicken is cheaper than the free-range chicken because the free-range chicken has privileges that the conventional chicken doesn't. But at the end of the day, what is both of these chickens' destiny? Yeah. To be someone's dinner. And so whether we think we have privileges or not, whether we think that this system is working for us or not, let us not be confused that no matter what side of the coin we think we're on, if we're not standing up for our rights, if we're not calling people to what the Constitution says, if we're not reading the Bill of Rights, we're not calling people on that stuff, we are being served up at the farmer's discretion.
Yes. Anyone else? Yes.
I wanted to kind of piggyback off what she said. Like, what do we do? Because, in the 60s and in those days, they had boycott. And when you stop spending money, they couldn't survive. So I'm not understanding why, even though at the end of the day we talk about we want to end this, we want to end that, we still take our last dollar and spend it with the same people that are doing us wrong and not letting us have these freedoms. We're still giving them our money. So I'm not understanding why we're in today's, because it's a shame to hear Dr. McNeil's stories and then this lady here in the front stories. Monica. And I'm going through the same thing. I just had this same incident today. The Caucasian lady that sits next to me ingested the Somalians that were at my window. They didn't need one ID. They had to have 2 IDs. And then she said, well, the signature don't match. You're talking to an 80-year-old man. His signature may not be perfect. But it hurts to hear that this happened in the 60s, but we in 2013 and it's still happening, and we're still spending our money.
I have an answer. An answer. I don't have the answer, but I have an answer. Part of it is to look at the 60s. Study the 60s. Mm-hmm. It is the most critical decade in the 20th century. No question about it. Pandora's box was opened. All the ills and the evils were let out at the same time. And you had your pick. My answer to you or anybody else is to organize. That's what happened in the 60s. The black community, for about 8 years, was the most organized political community in America. Everybody followed what they did because they were organized. Don't you remember you don't remember, but I'm saying you read about 1955 when the bus boycott came. 99% cooperation. It never happened in any other community in history. These are black people who they say, well, black people got to stick together. It already happened and we don't even know that. That was the most successful demonstration of unity in the history of American politics. That ain't in the textbooks. The children can learn from that. So I say, I'll tell you what A. Philip Randolph. Anybody know that name? Yep. All right, that's who Martin Luther King looked up to. He was the head of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, the most powerful black organization up until the 60s. Was the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters. These are people who worked on the trains. They were the deacons in our churches. They ran the Masons. They ran very important people. Some of them had college degrees, but they couldn't get a job because they were overeducated. They ended up working on the train. A. Philip Randolph is my teacher. That's another one of these people. I've only seen him once. Thank God. The answer to your question is to organize. If you're not organized, you ain't going to get nothing. Excuse me. You got to organize, he said. Organization, he said, is the fruit and flower of power. You've got to organize. If you're not organized, you can't get anything. You can't take anything, no matter how much you want it. You have to organize. That's universal. That's true. That's why the people in the what's the new movement in the Middle East? Give me the name. In Egypt. The who? Not the Brotherhood. Spring. Arab Spring?
Arab Spring. Oh, the Arab Spring.
Started the Civil Rights Movement. And we don't know it. Right about it. That's where they got that from. That's why you see the sign, we shall overcome. That's why you have the Tunisians actually singing, we shall overcome. We don't even pay attention. I'm talking black people now. We don't even know as a people that we create democracy. More people are participating in the politics than ever in the history of America. There are more people voting now. There are more people voting then. It didn't happen before black people, yes. This is not chauvinism. It's just true. That woke everybody up. We were the template for other people, the model for other people to follow. You know, the Civil Rights Movement, their success, what do you find next? Women's rights movement, the anti-war movement, the LGBT movement. We are the people who are leading the society toward democracy and don't know it because we're miseducated. And you can't teach the children that. The teacher don't know the lessons. They don't know. They don't know that they follow. You know what I say to white people now? I say, boy, y'all are so black, I'm going to give up the black race. Because you're more black than me. I can't look at a television commercial now. All that's about politics. All these things, images of black people. You know, you see them, every other commercial. You hear people saying the speech patterns, you know, I'm all up in here, you know, kind of talk like that. That's the influence of black people. We're the most influential group for democracy in America. If I were looking at George Bush's face, I would tell him that. If I were looking at the richest white man's face on Wall Street, I would tell him that. You know that. That's why you're distorting everything and confusing people. Like black people don't think they can do anything and they already did it. And white people continue. I don't mean all white people. Let's get this straight. You never say all about any group of people. You can't say that. Human beings are too complex. They can't be defined like that. You know what I mean? But in the generality, can I say that? That whites are unconscious. It's false consciousness. They got the pretty words and so forth, but they don't have the moral fiber. Black people have the moral fiber. They do. You know, you say, well, it ain't there. Where is it? I'm all around it all the time. You're just not looking at the black community. People say, well, black people ain't doing nothing. The people I'm around are trying to do it. I don't know what you're talking about. Who you hang out with? You know what I mean? Don't give me that stuff that nobody's not trying to protect our children. I'm a part of at least 6 organizations which is helping our children. The one you know about is Seed Academy, which set the example. You know, but there are several. They've been working them. They ain't getting paid for it. They're fighting for our children. And the most black people, they ain't doing nothing over north. You know, like, what are you talking about? You don't know what's going on in your own community because you're too tied to the damn television. Look at that. Now, let me see what Scout's going to do next, you know, or whatever. That's what's killing us. We're addicted to the television. We're intelligent and stupid at the same time. I hate to say that, but it's true.
No, that's why I keep you around. You tell the truth, and I do appreciate that very much. And here's what the confusing part for me, and when you have this conversation, because everything is predicated with race.